Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name, and welcome to another Octopath COTC video. And you read the title right. Title, thumbnail, one of those. I'm doing a giveaway. So today is 8/5/22. I'm going to go a week out. That's how long the giveaway is going to go for. So on the 12th, I'm going to pick a winner. The only rules are that you have to be subscribed and you have to comment on this video. That's the only rules. You have to be subscribed and comment. That way I can go through a website that'll automatically pick one randomly pick one for me. So I'm giving away $30 no matter what. However, if this video gets over 5,000 views, then I will double it to $60. So the reason I was going to do like 20 bucks, but 30 is a multi. So I'm like, all right, I'll do one multi. And then if this video exceeds my expectations, which would be 5,000, then I'll give away two multis. So either, it's a mixed bag. I want it to get over 5,000 views, but also I'm like, if it doesn't, that's fine. I saved 30 bucks. Anyway, yeah. So just comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed. Let me know that you want it in the comment. Ideally, if you specifically don't want it, just let me know, because when I pull the random thing, then, I don't want to try to give it to someone that doesn't want it, but it's $30 or $60. We'll do it in Google Pay. Or I'll do it over PayPal, or I can actually get a card, send you the code. We'll figure out. Sometimes it's a little weird depending on if people aren't in the United States with me, and we'll have to figure that out if you are the chosen winner, but we absolutely will figure that out. So on to the actual main point of the video though. Now that you can go if you're here for the sweepstakes giveaway only. I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite combinations of units. There's obviously tons of combinations you could do. I'm going to go with 2 pairs for this video because we're going to be talking about 4 units. And typically, I've been doing the 3 units to not sleep on. And so I figured that just doing 2 pairs for 4 units is a good call. So these are the teams right here. If you don't want to hear the explanation because I tend to ramble, there you go. I recommend using these units together in this way. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So, the one that I think is, a little bit weaker, you can tell my Devon's only 9, so I haven't used this that much myself, but again, I'm not leveling that many merchants because I got Gilderoy as my starting unit, so it feels weird to not have him in the party and instead have another merchant. And merchants tend to be in my opinion, merchants tend to be weak. It doesn't feel like one that you want to double up on or triple up on, right? That may not be true in all cases, but I've been happy with one merchant. But Devon, Ramona, why do I like these two? And when I'm talking about pairs, right, I'm talking about the front row and their paired back row, just to make that super clear in case that wasn't. But Devon and Ramona. So Devon, actually, I think he's probably better than Gilderoy in a lot of ways. At the end game, he's not going to be better because his level cap is lower, right? So he's never going to be as good as Gilderoy once you get to the late game. But in the mid game, I think he has a lot of potential to be straight up better if you're looking around level 50s. Anywhere from level 20 to like level 60, probably right around in there is when I think Devon could be better. So Devon has this really cool ability just in general, right? Counter, he gets counter pretty early for 3 turns, which is actually very, very good, I think. Gilderoy gets it much later. Mine still doesn't have it, and he's at a pretty high level. And then, so he has the counter, but he has Desperate Resolve, which is another, again, of course, Gilderoy has this. And this is one of his later abilities, so you're going to get it a bit later, but it's really good. You can see it provokes everyone and then raises physical and elemental defense of self by 15%. So pretty big stat increase, provokes everybody, and then you can obviously follow it up with the counter position. That way you're dealing damage for basically free, right? So none of these abilities are like insane, but none of them are bad either, right? You got Repeated Thrust. The Desperate Resolve is pretty good. But the counter position I actually think is pretty great. Actually, for 3 turns, you might be hitting a bunch of things. I don't know if this works if they physically attack you with something that hits 5 times, if you counterattack all 5, or if it's like the 5 go, then you counterattack. But I do actually recommend, if you're running Devon, you find someone with the passive that makes augments last a turn longer, because Desperate Resolve lasting 3 turns and counter position lasting 4 turns without any BP investment is just really good in general. But the reason why I consider this like the what I call these two together, the unkillable tank, and that's because Devon has this wonderful ability right away, grant self automatic HP recovery of 85. So he just every turn for the whole entire fight is always going to be healing himself. His other passive here He gives himself for 3 turns, he's going to have the 15% up. So you're going to hit that 30% physical defense up cap for 3 turns if you use Desperate Resolve. Again, this is another reason you kind of want the augment up, because this lasting for 4 turns is way better. And then the resolve lasting, you could boost it on turn 1 to bring it up to 4 turns. That way you have 4 turns of 30% increased physical defense up, which is the cap of which you can get, while he's also healing himself constantly. So why Ramona? Because it's cool that he heals himself, but Ramona has his awesome ability a little bit later. When in the back row, grant front row automatic HP recovery. So 85 and 85, that's 170. There's 170 potency with 0 actions being healed on this guy every turn, while he has a 30% physical damage increase, while he has a 15% elemental damage decrease, while he's taunting everybody. So this is like the whole idea of this is to make an unkillable tank. And again, there might be, you might be able to use some better units for a similar effect. I'm specifically not including 5 stars right now in these earlier videos. As the game progresses and gets older, I will start using more general pool 5 stars in videos to make builds with, or use, tell you guys how to use them. But early on, I can't guarantee any specific player has the 5 stars. The 4 stars are much more reasonable overall. But yeah, just basically the unkillable tank. What's her first passive again? Oh, sorry, that's not the one. She actually, yeah, this is another reason. She has the self SP battery. Potency 5 is low, but while she's sitting in the back row healing Devin's healing himself, she's just gaining SP, right? And even though she, obviously at the start of the fight, she doesn't really need it, but she does have this really cool, then she could just jump in, use this 42 SP cost, heal more all, and then she goes back to the back, right? So she heals everyone besides Devin, who hopefully doesn't need it because he's been healing himself the whole fight. And then she heals the rest of the team. Then she goes back, gets her SP back over the course of like a couple turns, right? Because she's given herself SP, being in the back row gives you 10%. And she even has like this, the Sheltering Veil and Guardian Aura isn't as good because you can't actually target this on Devin. But if for some reason Devin is not able to taunt up, or you got to use like spear damage to break an enemy, being able to have this kind of as a backup plan to help keep the team safe, at least take less damage, it's fine. It's definitely not like a big deal though. But it's all about making Devin that unkillable tank, just healing himself, and then taunting up. And then while the rest of your team's really doing all the heavy lifting, you kind of are just trying to focus all these attacks onto one unit. So I do really like that combination. It's pretty effective, but it doesn't actually help you win, I suppose, right? It prevents you from losing more. This other combination, however, I think helps you win. This is my favorite combo of units right now. Also, make sure you guys include in the comments. I guess it's kind of weird because of the giveaway or whatever, but I do want to see what you guys, what your favorite combinations of units are. Front unit, back unit, stuck together. Why? What are your favorite, and why is it your favorite? Is it just, sometimes it's cool to I have a high damage unit and I have a high damage unit. That way I always have a high damage unit. That's cool, but I mean, if there's anything more beyond that that's a little more synergistic that you felt, that'd be cool. So that's why I'm using Ashland and Wingate. I think these are a perfect example of just badass units that work together. So Wingate, I've talked about ad nauseum. I think it's ad nauseum, AD. It doesn't matter. We all know that I'm not that intelligent. And this is going to come down to Wingate just is a great unit, just in general, right? On his own. He breaks things. He's got really cool AoE darkness attacks, single target, double hit darkness attacks. The AoE is a double hit too. Spider Fang for slowing down enemies is really good. Shield Breaker is not really good, but it is good, and it's nice to just have. But of course, he has the insanely good right here. When in back row, raise damage dealt by front row to broken foes by 20%. This is just a 20% damage increase to foes that are broken. I think that's great. I love this ability. In fact, it's good enough where I think this was the same one. Oh no, is it this one or this one? 20% when exploiting enemy weakness. I think Where It Hurts 3 is the one that's on Heathcote, actually, not the rear guard augmented break, but I like the rear guard augmented break even more. So the reason why these are together, it doesn't really have anything to do with Wingate's kit, other than the fact that he could break shields, and sometimes you kind of want that stuff together. It really is more about this passive combined with the passive of Ashland. Now, between the two of them, they don't have great coverage. They're both darkness. And then Wingate has not spears. He has daggers, and then Ashlyn has bows. But Ashlyn has this really, really sick ass ability here. Let's go to learn skills. So I don't know why. I just like the screen more. Right here, raise critical damage of both rows by 20%. So I assume this just means, the reason it's worded this way is it means that when he's in, because if it said while in back row, raise front row, it wouldn't include himself. And then if he's in front row and it says, you know, so this is like whether he's in the front or the back, both units are always going to be getting it, which is very, very good. So 20% more crit damage. He even has this, remind me what this one does. Guaranteed crits. That's not really what it's about, but he has the guaranteed crit damage with True Strike, which is a guaranteed critical hit. So after you break a foe, and if these guys can't do it, the rest of the team can, but again, still between 3 different types of damage between the two of them, it's still usually, you could usually break it. And the dagger is always good. If they're not weak to bows or darkness, you could just have your Wingate come in and slowly chip them down. He's still doing something. But once they're broken, you get to do a fully maxed out True Strike, which is like, I think it's like 320 potency. It's like really high. So it's a 320 potency with a guaranteed critical hit, and you're going to get 20% bonus damage because it's a critical hit and you have the bonus. So it's doing 320 potency plus critical hit bonus damage plus the bonus 20% critical hit damage plus Wingate's 20% bonus damage to broken foes. It's just like all these things are adding up, and I've hit harder with Ashlyn than any other unit. Like I've hit enemies that aren't weak against bows for like 4,000 and enemies that are weak against bows for like 5,500. It's just been absolutely crazy. And this isn't even like, he's not fully built, right? He's only level 54 right now. I need to get him better weapons. I need to get him, once he's 55, I think I can equip a better bow. So it does like a pretty insane amount of damage. I've been absolutely in love with this combination, and they've been kind of I have a lot of good DPS units on my main team, but these guys have been kind of like a workhorse. Especially the thing that I like about it is that they do more damage than any other units that I've ever seen on a unit that isn't weak to one of their things. When something is weak to it, like it's really, really good, but I feel like for some reason it does even more damage, not more damage, but it does a lot of damage even if there's no weakness exploitation, which is very, very, very good, because it's hard to always have while you're going to the new content, it's hard to always have every character have the right kind of exploit for the enemy you're fighting. But I mean, I could do more damage to some individual characters, like if they're weak to wind, Noelle just absolutely blows people up. But if they're not, and if they are weak, it just does really good. All right, I'm rambling, I'm going around in circles, but the point is, I think that their damage is absolutely crazy, and they've just got, because Wingate is just Wingate, being able to always be useful. Like Wingate, it never feels like a dead unit, even when there's no exploitation happening. You can use your shield break, you could use your spider bite to slow the enemy down. That way your healers can go before the enemy. That's saved my life a lot of times. Spider bite's very good. And then if they do happen to be weak to darkness, you've got double darkness attacks. You don't have any double dagger strikes, or at least I don't on my Wingate right now. I don't even, honestly, I'm so in love with these skills, I haven't even seen if he has a double strike. He doesn't. No, he does have an AoE shield break, but I just don't really use it because it's a little expensive. Oh, he does have double sting. I'm so sorry. So double sting could be worth pulling in here instead of one of the, because I have Shadow Strike and Chain Shadow Strike. I don't really need both of those, especially because Chain Shadow Reaver also has more potency than Shadow Strikes, and it's AoE. It is expensive, but I should probably get rid of that just so I have a double dagger attack in the back burner, right? But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the giveaway. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what other units you like and think could be combined together. And I'm at 52 hours of playtime. Awesome. Thank you so much. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I will see you in the next video. Peace.